Albert J TV and footballing community. Tuesday night live in the Albert J TV household. Somebody said Arsenal talk. Stroke a little bit of transfer news. But before we get into it, let's smash the Albert J TV intro. See you in a bit, people. And I can see the logic behind the signing, even though some Arsenal fans.
We actually worked a good passage of play.
Arsenal and footballing community. Like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to Albert J TV. Yes, good evening, Arsenal community, footballing community. Tuesday night live in the Albert J TV household. Long time since I've done a 9 p.m. stream, man. Actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. If I go through the Albert J TV history books of my channel, I don't think I've done too many, if I'm going to be honest. But big up to the people watching this live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course on the X feed as well. If you watch on X, retweet, quote tweet, whatever you want to do. YouTube, smash the like button through the roof, and also do the old thumbs up on the Facebook live if you can as well. First, I must say, I don't know, you guys will tell me better. I think I saw the PFA awards tonight, and I think Rice and Erdegaard were in the PFA Team of the Year. Did I get that right? If they did, congratulations. And I have to say, I saw some of the video footage and pictures. Martin Erdegaard should be auditioning for a James Bond movie. Man was looking sharp, man. God dear. Man. And big up Saliba and Gabriel as well, man. Looking sharp, man. Looking crisp. Yeah, man. Erdogan, man. Start the campaign, people, man. Should be in the Bond movie. Cool, dear. Our captain, man. But yeah, man, let's talk, man. Transfer stuff. As I said to you before, whoever, if you're Albert JTV regulars or you just joined the channel new in recent days or weeks or whatever, I don't mind talking about transfers. Just not every minuscule, every second, every minute. My Twitter account is not like that. it absolutely isn't like that. Want to have a life, work, my own content. Too much time to tweet. I'll tweet about my own content in terms of getting it out there when I'm going to be doing it. But transfer stuff. There are plenty of people on the socials who can take care of that business. But I obviously want to talk about it because we've got what have we got now? It's the 11 days left now to the end of the transfer window. So much to talk about. But yes, people, audio listeners, when you do listen to this back, this will go out on all platforms, Google, Spotify, and Apple. Now, let's get into it, man. Now, the first transfer thing I'm going to transfer scenario, saga, storybook, whatever you want to call it, is this guy. Where has he gone? Merino. Man, I tell you, man, this is anybody who's an Arsenal fan, I would say probably my age and the last 10 years younger, maybe even just being an Arsenal fan, but some of our transfer talk does take a bit long to get done. Now, from what you hear, the discrepancy was, and this was probably last week, going into last week, they were saying that between Sociedad and Arsenal, they're not particularly very close in terms of the structure of the deal, in terms of the fee. Now, they're saying that Sociedad looking in between 35 to 40 million pound, 35 to 40 million euros, which works out between the bracket of what? English pounds, 29 million to 35 million. I think roughly it's about that. I think the deal will get done. I hope it gets done before I run out of run out of the what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean, man. Losing the will to live. That's what I'm trying to say. It has taken a bit long. It's taken a very, very long. But I would have thought the medical would have got done. I think it came out that Edu had traveled to Spain this week or the weekend just gone. I think the deal will get done. What type of player we're getting, depending on what YouTube channel you follow or doing your own due diligence through watching Sociedad in La Liga. I've got the wrong league. But from what people tell me who watch Spanish football a little bit more, he would definitely play in the 8. To me, he's an excellent passer of the ball, by the way. Can get the odd goal as well. And to get that balance on our left side of the team is so important because it was completely missing last season. But it depends who you listen to. If you, like I said, want to do your own due diligence and not listen to people on social media platforms, I've heard fans tweet that he's bang average. I've seen people say he's exactly the type of player that Mikel Arteta wants. People have done the whole thing about it's the Granit Xhaka role, which I don't look at it like that because I think you've got to judge the guy and his merits and how good he is when he comes in our shirt. He's 28. He's in, I would say, the prime powers of your career. He was obviously left out in the match on the weekend with Sociedad. I think the deal will get done. I think, like I said, British pounds wise, I think Arsenal tried to go in, I think about 22 million. They said no. And obviously, they want a little bit more, which I think it will get done. And he wants to move as well, Mikel Merino. But from what I've seen in terms of clips and footage and listening to people who are far more versed in terms of knowing about Mikel Moreno's expertise, very good player. Very good player. I think he would fit in very, very well at Arsenal. Like I said, giving that much needed balance to the side. We've got it on the right hand side with Ben White, Saka, and Odegaard. We can have it on the left hand side with Calafiore, Mikel Merino, and obviously Gabriel Martinelli or Trossard at the moment. We'll see. But yeah, listen, it's I think he featured in all of Spain's games at the Euros. So I didn't watch Spain every single game, but he did feature, and obviously he got the winning goal in the quarterfinal against Germany. But for those, like I said, there's people out there, maybe Arsenal fans that watch I forgot the name of the league now. Look what's gone out my head. Good lord. Watch Spanish league every week. But like I said, from what I've seen with the naked eye, and obviously if he turns out to be an Arsenal player in the up and coming days or weeks, we will see more of him and see why Mikel Arteta wanted to bring him to Arsenal. Because one thing I'm not going to do is sit down like some kind of fantastic Graham Hunter expert or Tim Vickery expert, because I don't watch the Spanish league like I used to. Why have I forgot the name of the league? People put in the chat. I've lost my mind. It's gone out of my head. Let me see. Stephen, big up to you. Of course, Russ, big up to you. I think people are probably watching. If you're watching in the UK, I think some people might be watching Vera on ITV to detect the police drama series. They might be whatever floats your boat on a 9:15 on a Tuesday night. But big up to the people that do watch this live now, and like I said, on all platforms. And I will obviously put this out on the audio a little bit later. But yeah, listen, Mikel Merino will arrive. When he'll arrive, I don't know. But as Arsenal fans in recent years, with players we've been linked with or players that we've ended up actually buying, it does take us a little bit long to get there. The one that sticks out in my mind, actually, I think was the one I got to pick out is the Lacazette deal. Jesus Christ. When we signed him, I've never seen a medical take so long. It was absolutely insane. Thank you. Why was it slipping my tongue? La Liga, man. Good Lord, man. I think I've been working too many hours at work. Let me adjust my camera. Apologies, people. That's better. But yeah, listen. One thing not just myself, but many Arsenal fans have said is we don't ever seem to address our central areas in one hit. Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, the impending arrival of Mikel Merino. It's all done by bit. But it's one of the things with football transfers and as an Arsenal fan, it can be pretty painful sometimes getting deals over the line. But let's move on to our next talking point, because I'm not going to do a long one because it is after 9 o'clock and I need my beauty sleep, believe it or not, sometimes. Just sometimes. Where's he gone now? We're going to go to Eddie Nketiah, still the talking point. We obviously saw the tweet. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Nottingham Forest have jumped into the arena to sign Eddie Nketiah. Now, a lot's been spoken about the fee. One thing I must say, and I've touched on this before, I understand Arsenal sentiment in not letting players go for peanuts, or Arsenal putting a valuation on the player and saying, look, if you want to buy him, but this is what you have to pay for it. I said myself, with the ESR deal, I thought ESR, if Arsenal can get anything between 30, 35 million, I think they've done fantastically well. That is a good bit of business and it's the right figure for him. With Eddie, I said, if Arsenal get anything between 25 and 30, I think they've done very, very well. Obviously, when Olympique Marseille came in, it was a little. The first bid was very underwhelming. I'm not surprised Arsenal turned that down, and the second bid was a bit better, probably, but not where Arsenal wanted it. Arsenal stood firm and said, "Look, if you want the guy, you put the money down and you pay him." But then I understand Marseille's point of view, thinking, "Hold on a minute, This guy's got 16 goals in 116 appearances or 119 appearances. Are we really going to go to your valuation? But that deal fell through and it was off. And I felt for Eddie a little bit. I have to be honest, because he was open to the move to go and play football. But then we've seen Nottingham Forest have come in, a £25 million bid, which Arsenal have turned down. And I think that's on the money. If Arsenal manage to get a bit more, because obviously there's also interest from Crystal Palace, I believe, as well. If Arsenal get above 25 million quid offer for Eddie Nketiah, that is good business, man. And you would absolutely snap your hands off and take that. You have to take that as an offer. With his, I think what it is for me, this is my opinion. You people can disagree with me or not when you watch this live now, or you drop in the comments later. I think his goal scoring record harms him in terms of. I understand Arsenal sticking firm, but I almost feel like you're sticking firm on the wrong player because his goals does not. What's the word I'm looking for? His goals record in an Arsenal shirt does not command the price that Arsenal want for him. Although it may be commendable what Arsenal are trying to do with Eddie's goals, it's not fantastic. And people say, yeah, but he's not starting many games. But I don't think some clubs probably look at that if you're purchasing. But like I said, if Arsenal get that deal over the line, that's a great bit of business. If they get near to 30 million, I think they've done very, very well. And I think maybe not all Arsenal fans, but some might say, you know what? Fair play to Arsenal for holding out a tiny bit. People might say for the sake of a few million, but Arsenal obviously felt it was important enough to hold out firm. And listen, strikers are a commodity, man. There's not a lot of them, and the market's not inundated with loads of them. This just isn't, and even the ones that are available, clubs are asking for serious money or a lot of money. And you see a lot with a lot of transfers that have been speculated, not just with Arsenal, with people going in for players, you know, with a season-long loan obligation to buy. And clubs are saying, well, no, if you really, really want him, you need to pay the money and have him. But let's see how this plays out of Eddie, because like I said, he wanted to move to Olympique Marseille. It didn't happen. But he looks like he may have a chance to stay in the Premier League, possibly in London or possibly in the Midlands. My good old mate, Dave, the Forest fan, Lord Ashbury, I call him, and Ben Doe, all those guys, and Des Oldham. Big up to all those guys, man. They're great to have met them in the flesh back in last year, June, a couple of months ago, for a YouTube get together. But listen, like I said, if Arsenal get that fee for him, they have done absolutely brilliant. Trust me, with Eddie's goals record. So we see how that pans out, man. We see how that pans out. And obviously we've been linked, which is going to tie in with the next person we're going to talk about, is Aaron Ramsdale. Now I said this on Potsy channel 12, man. Big up Dan Potts, man. When I looked at the end of last season, and I was thinking as an Arsenal fan in terms of transfers, obviously incomings, but more so outgoings. At the top of the list in terms of bringing money into the club and potentially the first person out of the door, I would have said it would have been Aaron Ramsdale, because we go back to the last summer when we brought in David Raya. You know, it hadn't been that long. You know, it was only a few months ago at the time, actually, or maybe even more recent, where Aaron Ramsdale signed a contract extension. And then obviously we brought in David Raya, who, you know, has got a relationship with the Arsenal goalkeeping coach. Mikel Arteta has obviously wanted David Raya for a long time as well. So from that point, kind of Aaron Ramsdale's days were numbered, literally. And for me, he would have been probably the first person out the door, and also to command a good figure in terms of monetary value to come into the club. So we're now in a position where we, before the first game of the season, 5 days before the game, 5 days before the first game of the season against I forgot the team was playing against, but oh my god, Wolves. Ajax came in for a bid, a loan deal, obligation to buy. Arsenal said no, they prefer a permanent. Or was it just a loan deal? I have to double check that. And then obviously Wolves have made an approach. And from, if I got this right, I don't think Wolves have bought anybody. So, and they've lost two of their biggest players in Kilman and Pedro Neto. So I don't think they've bought anybody. So again, Arsenal standing firm, they would prefer to do business on the permanent. But I think Aaron Ramsdale will go. I'll stick my neck out the line and say that I think he will go. He's a young guy. You don't want to be, particularly with goalkeepers, you can't be sitting on the bench, man. And if he believes he should be a number one, and obviously David Raya's got the gloves, and that's not going to be relinquished anytime soon, then Aaron Ramsdale's got to find football elsewhere. I know he's a fan's favorite of a lot of people, but as I always say, and I stick by it, football's a very, very, very short career. And you need to make your moves and go and play football somewhere else and go and make a name for yourself. But Wolves may come back in. You don't know. If we was to sell him on a permanent, it would be very interesting to see what we would get for him. I actually think we probably get for him what we roughly pay for him. I'd be shocked if it's more, if he does go on a permanent. I'd be very, very shocked. Let's come to the chat quickly. A few hellos in there. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if no, not surprised. Sorry, I'd be interested to see. Sorry, I said it again. How much we would get for him. Some people said, I've been in a couple of Arsenal group chats, said about 25 mil, but like I said, a lot of these clubs are trying to go in with a loan with an obligation to buy, man. Is it buy loan before you buy? That's a new phrase, man. But yeah, bro, listen, Aaron Ramsdale hasn't done a lot wrong. I think we go back to the sort of the show you went on to Ian Wright's thing. Said about the concentration thing, and then obviously some of the mistakes he's made, as well as making good saves as well, by the way. Let me get that in there. But he obviously feels David Raya gives him that extra 2-3% more than what Aaron Ramsdale can offer. And that's how he has to look at it. Mikel Arteta as a manager, David Raya is the guy that he wants. It is that simple. So watch this space, people. So let me come back. Like I said, it's not going to be a long show. We're 23 minutes in. So people, smash the like button if you haven't already. Obliterate it, actually. But let me give you a reminder of what you should do if you haven't done it already. So here you should go, people. It's a little intro into Albert J TV to subscribe to Albert J TV. And there you have it, people. Audio listeners, do not panic with that music you just heard. It's just a little bit of an intro to subscribe to Albert J TV. And thanks to the live viewers that are watching right now. And that reminds me, actually, obviously, Arsenal have been linked with a goalkeeper from Espanyol. I think that's more dependent because you have so many pieces of the jigsaw, don't you? So you think about that season when we signed Aubameyang. So how did it go? Giroud went to Chelsea, and Michy Batshuayi went to Dortmund, and then obviously Aubameyang came to Arsenal. So there's so much that goes on, man. But I think if we brought in a young guy, Sefton, who's obviously not ready yet. He's 18. You know what I mean? He's one for the future. But you don't want a situation where, touch wood, if David Raya got injured or was out for a long time, who's going to be your second goalkeeper? But yeah, they've been linked with is it Juan Garcia of Espanyol? He is 23 years old. He's a big goalkeeper, man. He's like 6'3", 6'4". I think Raya's like what 5'11", 6'4". He doesn't look a big goalkeeper, but yeah, Garcia's a big goalkeeper, man. He's not had that many appearances, so it would suggest to me that he knows he'll be coming in as a number two. When I checked it, his appearances for Espanyol in regards to the first team is 18 appearances, and he's been there since 2021 till present. So listen, if Arsenal can get that sorted, and he knows he's coming in as a backup, then so be it. But like I say, yeah, he's only 23 years old. So listen, we need some pieces to start moving and a little bit better. But before I come on to the last player, before I wrap up, I'll say what I've said consistently. This transfer window for me was obviously you want to bring in quality to make your first 14, 15 players strong, and those to come off the bench make an impact. And then you have, to have your squad of 25, 22, 25 very, very strong. But we need to move players on. We need to get better at that as a club. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I generally mean this. In terms of player sales, the figure for ESR was spot on. If we move on Eddie Nketiah for the fee between 25 and 30 million, absolutely spot on. If it was down to me, I would look in terms of moving on one more in the defensive area, and that would either be Jakub Kiwior or Alexander Zinchenko. There was rumors of Zinchenko and Bayern Munich. There was rumors about Kiwior and AC Milan, but that was more of a season-long loan. I would have me personally to move one of them on and to also to get some income into the club. I that's what I would have done. It looks like they both might stay, but listen, 11 days is a long time in football. A lot could happen, so we'll see. But I would move on. I would have expected Arsenal, if I'm going to be really, really honest, to bring in a bit more money, and that's even me saying that with the fact that we haven't even sold Eddie Nketiah yet. Again, Reece Nelson still at the club. I don't think we would get a lot for him. I know some people were pretty pleased with what they saw in pre-season with Reece Nelson, but for me, I think that kind of marriage stroke partnership between him and Arsenal, I think it's done personally. I think he should look to go and play football somewhere else. There's obviously talk about him potentially going to Leicester. But yeah, I just think football, they need to move on, man, and go and get football somewhere else. ESL's done it. I think it'd be a good fit for him to go when he's gone to Fulham. Like I said, I would sell one of either Kiwior and what's it? I just said his name's Zinchenko. Matthew, you're right. The wages, it's correct. I think Reece is on good money. Eddie's on good money. Leicester just come up. They're not looking to subsidize that, man. Like to pay that the wages subsidized. Arsenal would obviously have to do that if in terms of wages if they're loans. But yeah, the 100k for Eddie, it's not helped. But like I said, if that move can get done, whether it's Nottingham Forest, whether it's Crystal Palace, 25 million plus, take the money and run, man. I said the same thing about Joe Willock when Newcastle came in. Good offer, take the money and run. We don't have, no offense, unless we sold Erdegaard tomorrow or a Saka, we're not getting we're not going to get player sales of 70, 80 plus million. We're just not, or anything near that figure. But you take what you can get for homegrown or 100% profit in terms of ESR. So we'll see, man. Like I said, 11 days is a long time in football, but yes, man. Let me come to your chat, I'll read it out, Matthew. Big up for joining in, man. Asking for 40 minutes that I'm trying it on. Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I was a bit surprised when he wasn't really hearing anything in terms of the deal getting closer. But I think Miguel Delaney tweeted like his last Tuesday. He tweeted actually saying that they're a bit way off Sociedad and Arsenal in terms of the figure. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're right. A year left in his contract. Come on, man. That's a lot. That really is a lot. Jason, come to you in the chat. Big up, Jason. Even now, but no, and all watching now. Happy being in the squad and picking up their wages. Hate seeing Highlanders leave, but it is what it is, and we need a stronger bench. Yeah, big up Emma Smith Rowe, man. Listen, he's been at the club, I think he said, since he was 11, did he say? But Reece, I look at it two ways with Reece, right? I don't know if you guys agree, Matthew, Jason, people watching this live. He could look at it from a point of view and say he's probably the one Arsenal player I could look at who has been on the periphery, above subs bench, games where we're not playing well, we need a bit of change. Mikel doesn't bring him on. Mikel, for me, doesn't bring him on because he doesn't trust him. Hence the reason why he will always play Saka all the time. Reece, he's had an opportunities to go, stay. And again, with him, he's not played a lot of football. I would have expected to see him where Saka's been for Arsenal in the last 3 years. A lot of Arsenal fans expect that to be Reece Nelson, and it hasn't happened. I think even the 2 loan spells he had, I don't think he tore up trees for Hoffenheim and Feyenoord. And I just think Reece, just go and get some football elsewhere because you're not going to feature. But also, let me come on. It ties in with the last player I'm going to talk about. Actually, we are 32 minutes in. I think that's. I see 131 on the Twitter feed. Thank you, people. Big up to you. And I've got a thumbs up on Facebook. How about that? That's not bad. Fair play as well. Let me retweet my own stuff. Yes, it's going to tie in. Actually, talking about Reece and wingers. I heard rumors about this guy today. I don't know what you guys feel, but I'm going to talk about him anyway. One of my fellow Nigerian brothers, Ademola Lookman. Now, when I heard this today, sometimes when you hear rumors about players potentially coming to Arsenal or players that Arsenal may show interest in, and all fans do this, when you hear certain players' names, you're like, oh, really? Or sometimes you're like, yeah, I definitely want him. Or you're like, oh, that's interesting. I'm more in the kind of the interesting camp. He's had an interesting career, Ademola. I'm saying it wrong. Ademola Lookman, in the fact that he's still only 26, I think, actually. I think he's at Charlton. He's been at Everton. He's been at RB Leipzig. He's been at Fulham. He's been at Leicester. And he's currently at Atalanta. And he's done really well. I think I didn't see his assist. So people in the chat, Matthew, whoever it is, get me Ademola Lookman's assists for Atalanta, because I know he's got 62 appearances and 24 goals. It's a wide forward, and he's got 23 appearances for Nigeria and 6 goals. This would interest me, but I think the issue with, if you brought in someone like Ademola Lookman, you'd have to move on Reece Nelson and probably one other, because I think where he got an amazing hat trick in that in the Europa League final against Bayer Leverkusen, brilliant hat trick. I think it was right foot, left foot. He scored a perfect hat trick, but his right foot and his left foot efforts, his left foot effort in the second half was unbelievable. He absolutely pinged it in the top corner. It just goes to show, when you get a hat trick or you play well on the biggest stage in a cup final, your estimation is going to go through the roof. And one thing he does have, where, and I've said this before, by the way, this is nothing new. Arsenal are not a team of slow coaches, but I think from an attacking point of view, I would like to see a little bit more pace. Because if you took Martinelli out of the squad completely, Saka's not a slouch, but he's not like lightning Linford Christie quick, or Usain Bolt quick. Jesus has got a good turn. Havertz is actually deceptively quite quick, but I just would like to see a little bit more pace in the side. But Lookman, yeah, is an interesting one. I think the only thing that would put probably a lot of Arsenal fans off is reportedly, I think Arsenal and Liverpool showing interest, but apparently Atalanta want about 60 million euros, which works at about, what, about 51 million, I think. It's about that. But yeah, man. Let me come to chat quickly. Love my guy, man. Ben Dorr, one of my Nottingham Forest people, man. Top man. Ben, love you to pieces, man. We'll take Eddie off you, but you carry on paying his wages. Yeah, it's Ben. You know what it is? That I think that's the thing that is an issue with some of the clubs that might be interested in him. Maybe even Reece Nelson as well. But Ben, great to see you in the chat, man. Love to you, man. I can't wait to hopefully, Ben, trying to get a ticket for Arsenal games, mate. I'm talking about the home games. There's more chance of me becoming an agent in CIA Langley to get a ticket. But when you guys come to the Forest, man, come to Arsenal, I definitely want to see you guys, man. And I will try and speak to any contact possible to try and get me an away ticket for Forest, which is probably more chance of me becoming the Prime Minister of this country than that happening. But Ben, lots of love to you, man. Yeah, what's going on with Vieira? Is he injured currently? I think. I'm not too sure. Reece is frustrating to watch as he has the talent. He does have the talent, but that's the thing. I think with Vieira, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are probably, and I was in the same boat. It was like, look, one more season in terms of last season just gone. Other than that, we need to move him on because the guy's not really feature for us. Yes, you can't help when you get injured, but even when the first season, there were a couple of games showed a bit of flashes, but then people say too lightweight, gets knocked off the ball. He's not making an impact when he plays. Because he paid 35 million quid for him, man. And this will be now his third season. So, but yeah, listen, people, drop your thoughts, whether that be now or when you watch this back or in the comments. Yeah, Adeloma Lookman, that kind of got my attention when I heard that. I was like, you know what? He's not gonna bang in. You look at his goal scoring record at the clubs he's been at, he's not gonna bang in 20, 25 goals, but he could. I could see Arteta trying to fit him in. He might not be to everybody's cup of tea, but he would interest me. I have to be honest, Adeloma Lookman. That'd be very, very interesting. Yeah, don't get me started about the tickets. My friend is a Porto fan and was raving about him. I know, man. Listen, everybody knows who I want as a striker, but it's not going to happen. But my thing is, if Arsenal are not going to go down the route of getting a striker, which they quite clearly were looking down that route because they looked at Benjamin Sesko. And maybe they're thinking Benjamin Sesko's young, we can mold him, won't have to pay over the hill. But he obviously stayed at is it RB Leipzig or Salzburg? I can't remember now. And getting a bit more experience. I think he needs a little bit more experience personally, Benjamin Sesko. But if Arsenal are not going to get a forward, which I don't think they will, with Gyökeres or what's the other guy? Isak. There's one more I forgot. It's gone out of my head. Osherman is a pipe. I actually don't think even Chelsea would get that done. And they just spend money for fun. But get a wide forward, because if you've got in someone like Lookman, for example, he wouldn't be coming to Arsenal to warm the bench. You know, this guy's looking to make play. This guy's looking to make his mark to be in the team, and that's what you want. You want that kind of. You're going to have squad players that are happy to be bench warmers or to sit on the bench and come on and make an impact. You've got guys that are saying, no, I don't want to sit on the bench for long or at all. I should be in the team. And Lookman would be good. Lookman would be really good. But yeah, Gyökeres has been I've been raving about him since December last year. I've said I wanted him at Arsenal, but it may not probably happen. But people, that is my transfer talk done for Tuesday night at 9:42 p.m. Big up to the people watching on the X feed and on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Smash a like on every single one and blast the algorithms through the roof. And if you don't know what to do by now, people, this is exactly what you should do. And there you have it. So yes, people, as I said, there will be some slight tweaks and changes to the channel. I'm consistent enough with it, but my, for my proper job or my 9 to 5 job, that actually allows me to do the consistency of my content for my channel anyway. But yeah, I had a bit of time to think, sort of doing the Euros, and then the Olympics came and Wimbledon and the rest of it. I think you'll see more Sunday shows, whether that be live or pre-recorded. You'll see more solo weekly surgery shows live, and you'll see a lot more YouTube shorts. As you've been seeing, it does keep the engagement, and I have noticed in terms of the views and people getting sort of pulled to the channel. You have to use every single possible advantage when it comes to the social media tools and engagement side of it. Not lying on the platform, like, saying on, transfers are happening when I don't know anything. But yeah, just a couple of tweaks to the channel, but with a little bit more consistency than the consistency that you're getting anyway. But yeah, like I said, if I didn't enjoy what I was doing in terms of YouTube, I wouldn't do it. But big up for the support, as always, for the 4 years, 2 years, last year, 6 months, the last couple of weeks. Keep on supporting, keep on subscribing, and yeah, man appreciates the love, man. So what's that? Yeah, God, yeah, we'll see what happens. But people, I'm going to bid you good night. I appreciate you and thank you very, very much. As you can see, my Instagram and Twitter / X handle are at the bottom of the screen in the overlay. And of course, your resident host, Albert JTV, on a late Tuesday night. But yes, my next stream, oh God, trying to think now. So we've got a big game on Saturday. I'm going to have to rush from work to try and get back for that. I will be doing watch alongs this season, again, combined with my channel and Lee Judges TV. My first one will be, no surprise, will be the North London Derby in September. No surprise. But people, good night. God bless. Stay safe. And as Super Kevin Campbell would say, the legend that is, always tell your loved ones you love them. We'll speak soon, people. Take care now.